Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So yesterday we were seeing Damanaka was explaining Karaṭaka how to become closer to, dearer to the king. So among them, he is completing that. He says, Na kuryānnaranāthasya yoṣidbhiḥ saha saṃgatim, na nindāṃ na vivādaṃ ca, bhavedrājavallabhaḥ, na kuryānnaranāthasya yoṣidbhiḥ saha saṃgatim, na nindāṃ na vivādaṃ ca, sa bhavedrājavallabhaḥ. Sa bhavedrājavallabhaḥ, he becomes dearer to the king. Who? Na kuryānnaranāthasya, naranathasya yoṣidbhiḥ saha saṃgatim na kuryāt. Never should you have any kind of association with the kings or masters or employers. Yoṣit. Yoṣit means woman. So it can be his wife, other ladies of the house. So anyone. So with those ladies, you should never have any kind of association. Na nindāṃ, na vivādaṃ ca. You should never condemn them or have any kind of dispute, any kind of argument with them. Never. So if you follow this, then you will become closer to the king. This is all understood. Karaṭaka, Karaṭaka now says, okay, fine, damanaka. Atha bhavanstatra gatvā, kim tāvatprathamaṃ vakṣyati, tattāvaducyatām. So he says, very good. Now I understand, you have studied good. Atha bhavanstatra gatvā. Okay, after going there, kim tāvatprathamaṃ vakṣyati. What will you say first? tattāvaducyatām. Tell me that now. What will you, how will you begin with? How will you begin your conversation with? Because we cannot go and say the king, oh, you look very afraid. What's your problem? Why are you afraid? No, that is very dangerous. That's a wrong button you are pressing. So you should be very careful how to begin the conversation. That's a very important act, actually. See, I'll tell you one comical situation. A friend had come. So he is a sadhu and he was a sadhu. Then he was a disciple of another sadhu. Okay. So I asked him, somebody said your Guruji is no more. Is it true? Do you know anything about it? He has come out from somewhere, so he didn't know the news. So he said, I'll check. So he took the phone. I was standing next to him. He took the phone, the old type of button phone kind of. Okay. He started pressing the number. He started with his diary in front of him. He started pressing the number and he picked up the phone and said, okay, I am speaking. I heard Guruji is... I was like, what? Why did you cut it? I said, what were you about to say? I just wanted to ask whether he is alive or not. I said, is that the way to answer? You should have to ask. No, we have to know, right? I said, true, but we have to ask, how is his health? Not is he dead or alive. You should have to ask him, how is his health? And the other person will say, oh, you didn't know that, right? This is what happened. If he is dead, or if he is good, or he is in this kind of situation, he'll say that. You should never ask. True. Okay, now I understand. Okay, now you don't have to cut. And he said, how is Guruji's health now? Then they said, he is fine. He is alive. The thing is, we don't know how to start the conversation. Okay, so damanaka tells him. How will you start the conversation? Damanaka tells him, uttarāduttaraṃ vākyaṃ vadatāṃ saṃprajāyate suvṛṣṭiguṇasampannādbījādbījamivāparam. Uttaram vākyaṃ vadatāṃ saṃprajāyate suvṛṣṭiguṇasampannādbījādbījamivāparam. Vākyaṃ vadatāṃ uttarāduttaraṃ saṃprajāyate. When you start speaking, From one to the other, there will be a lead always. Like when you go and ask someone, how are you? Everything is fine. Beautiful. Oh, very good. Everything is very good, right? Fine. I cannot say everything is very good. There are ups and downs, the life. Oh, you have still some problems, right? Okay. I cannot say there are only very less amount of problems. There are a lot of problems. Life is hell. He started with life is beautiful. Now he is talking about life is hell. So over the period of time, they will open up. You should never go and ask, what happened? No. So you should have to ask, how are you and all that. And gradually you will have to let the conversation lead. That is how it happens. Uttarāduttaraṃ vākyaṃ saṃprajāyate. From one answer, another answer, the statement goes on and the discussion goes on. It continues. We don't have to begin with anything. How are you? That is a good way to start. suvṛṣṭiguṇasampannādbījādbījamivāparam. How? suvṛṣṭiguṇasampannādbījādbījamivāparam. If there is a good rain, then bhavedrājavallabhaḥ. From one seed, another seed comes. Like, see, now there is no rain for quite some time. So, and the sun is heavy. So, you can see the green grass. Normally, there will be green grass. Nothing is green. Everything is completely dried up and you can see the ground clearly. Okay, this is now. One small rain over, everything suddenly becomes green. We don't know from where it starts sprouting. Everything suddenly becomes green. So, and when it starts sprouting, they produce flowers and fruits and whatever, that seeds, and that seed causes another sprout. So, from one seed to another seed, it naturally takes place if there is good rain. Okay. apāyasaṃdarśanajāṃ vipattimupāyasaṃdarśanajāṃ siddhim medhāvino nītiguṇaprayuktāṃ puraḥ varṇayanti. apāyasaṃdarśanajāṃ vipattim upāyasaṃdarśanajāṃ siddhim medhāvinah nītiguṇaprayuktāṃ puraḥ varṇayanti. Varṇayanti, this is how it is said. People know. That is how people know. They understand. They say this. What does that say? What do they say? apāyasaṃdarśanajāṃ vipattim. Apāya. Upāya means right means. Apāya means wrong means. The wrong step. When you take a wrong step, vipattim sandarśanajāṃ, you see the problem. Like because of some wrong advice or wrong action, you end up in trouble. Vipatti is trouble. You end up in trouble. Upāyasaṃdarśanajāṃ. If you are going to give a good advice, upaya, a good means, a good advice, like whatever we said, sandhi, etc. He said sandhi, vigraha, etc. The 6 different means he said, right? So friendship, fight, etc. So those methods, if you are going to at proper time give that advice, then siddhim, you will accomplish whatever you wanted to accomplish. Okay. Now, medhāvinah nītiguṇaprayuktāṃ. How do you know? How do you know what to say one? For this intelligent one, medhāvinah, this wise person, nītiguṇaprayuktāṃ, he has studied the niti shastra, the shastra, the scripture of ethics and morals and the governance and all that. He has studied that. So, because of his knowledge in that subject, whatever needs to be remembered, sphurantīmiva, immediately they come to his mind. Whatever he needs to remember, they come to his mind. That is how they say. So we don't have to plan anything. So whatever you have studied, that will come to your mind and you can explain that. ekeṣāṃ vāci śukavadanyeṣāṃ hṛdi mūkavat hṛdi vāci tattāvaducyatām valyanti sūktayah. Now, how do people speak? We see people, no, like that. They some people, something. Oh, is it so? Ah, okay, all that. So who is good and who is bad? Immediately we can say the person who is bad and the person who is that is good. We can see that, but that's not true. That may not be true. That is not true and that may not be true. Why? He says, ekeṣāṃ vāci śukavadanyeṣāṃ. They have in houses, they used to tell, especially me also. So there is a proverb in Tamil. Our own people, they will cry while saying things. The neighbors, they will laugh while saying this. Like, you have to study. Why don't you study? Please study. Parents always tell their children to study. Now, the neighbors, what will they say? Oh, he's a small boy, young boy. He'll understand everything. Don't worry. If he's not going to play at this age, when will he play? They'll all be giving you fancy advices. So, which is right? So that is why he says, ekeṣāṃ vāci śukavadanyeṣāṃ. Because you have to understand this background for understanding this. Otherwise, it will be very, very bland. It says something very unintelligent. Like ekeṣāṃ vāci śukavadanyeṣāṃ. Some people talk like parrot. Anyeshāṃ hṛdi mūkavat. Some people, they have their heart very, 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 very bland. Mūkavat, like dumb. What does that mean really? So some people speak like a parrot, very nice talks, but inside they are very dangerous. Anyeshāṃ hṛdi mūkavat. Some people are silent in their heart, very smooth in their heart, very, 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 very soft in their heart, but outside they'll be very hard. It's like this jackfruit. Take for instance jackfruit. Jackfruit has all thorns and all that. People who have eaten jackfruit, they'll know this. If you split it open, you have these fruits so nice. It's tastier than honey. Okay, in North Indians don't know this. Only in South India you can find this jackfruits, not in North India. In North India, what they do is they won't let it to become fruit, and even if it becomes fruit, it doesn't taste as sweet as this. So what they do is they cut it as vegetable, remove the outer skin, and then cook it as vegetable. In North India, they cook it as vegetable. South Indians don't cook it as vegetable. South Indians eat the fruit, not the vegetable. Okay. Now, South Indians don't know the vegetable. North Indians don't know the fruit. Okay. Now, if you cut it open, the fruit is so sweet. This is one side. Fig fruit. The fruit of the fig tree is so beautiful from outside, red and yellow and all that, beautiful colors. When you split it open, you can see insects inside. So, some people are hard outside but soft inside. Some people are soft outside and hard inside. So, hṛdi vāci tatha anyeshāṃ valgu valgyanti sukteha. And for some other people, their words and their thoughts, they go hand in hand. Like they are bad inside and they are bad outside. They are hard inside and hard outside. They are good inside and good outside. So that is how some people. So there are 4 kinds of people: good inside, bad outside; bad inside, good outside; bad inside, bad outside; good inside, good outside. So these are the 4 kinds of people. So he says. So finally, damanaka says, "Nacha aham apraptakalam vakṣye. Akarnitam maya nītisaram pituhu purvam utsangam hi nishevata. Na apraptakalam vakṣye. Na aham apraptakalam vakṣye. I won't speak when it is not a proper time to speak. I know when to speak and when not to speak. We have to learn this. This is a beautiful thing actually. We have to understand when to open our mouth and when to keep it shut. We should not open our mouth in wrong times. We should not keep our mouth in wrong times also. We should have to know when to open, when to keep it shut. And we have to speak when you need to speak out. We have to keep shut when you need to keep shut. Otherwise, it's all wrong. Not speaking at the time when you need to speak is wrong. Speaking up when you need not speak, you should not speak, is also wrong. So he says, Akarnitam maya. I have heard this. What? Nītisaram. The essence of the way of conducting our life. Pituhu utsangam purvam his nishevata. Earlier, when I was playing in the lap of our father, I have heard it, I have studied it. So don't worry. Aprapta kalam vachanam brahaspatir api bruvan labate bahu avajñam apamanam cha pushkalam. Whatever he said earlier, generally he is saying it specifically. Earlier he said, if you are going to open your mouth in an untimely place or situation without being summoned, if you are going to present yourself and talk about something, then bahu avajñam apanancha. He said the same problem. You will be disrespected and you will be disregarded. Bahu avajñam, disregarded. Apamanamcha, disrespected. So, aprapta kalam vachanam brahaspati rapi bruvan. Even if Brahaspati, who is Brahaspati? Brahaspati is a guru of the deities. Even if he opens up his mouth when it is not the right time, proper time to open up, then even he will have to face a disrespect and disregard. People will just side him. So his karaṭaka, after hearing all this, karaṭaka says, very good, you have studied, I see this. Durārājya hi rājānaha parvata iva sarvada vyāla kirnaha suvishamaha kathina dushta sevitaha. Fine. I understand that you have understood how to serve the king and all that. I hope you have understood how to go closer to the king. Everything's fine. But the problem is, durārājya hi rājānaha parvata iva sarvada vyāla akirna suvishamaha kathinaha dushta sevitaha. Durārājya hi rājanaha. The kings are rājanaha. The kings are durārājya, are very difficult to serve. The kings are very difficult to serve. Like parvata iva sarvada, like always like a mountain. Like a mountain means, what is that? He is saying vyāla kirna, infested with wild animals, snakes and other wild animals. Suvishamaha. See, I have traveled from Rishikesh to Yamunotri to Gangotri to Kedarnath to Badrinath to Rishikesh, 1500 kilometers by foot on the hills. And in one place, Chamoli, closer to Chamoli, when I was going to, I saw a 8 feet or something black cobra, king cobra kind of. It's king cobra. It was going in front of us. I stopped suddenly on the trekking path, and people were like, "What? Shh, shh." I pointed out, and they saw, oh, black king cobra, 6-8 feet long. And I have seen so many snakes, and I had seen also some transparent snakes. For some time in my dreams, I had I was seeing these snakes in my dreams. Okay, vyāla kirnaha. There are so many other animals and other things. Suvishamaha, and it is not always a plain road. Like you are walking up, and you see sometimes from this mountain you have to walk to the other mountain. How do you know this? Because the car which was here went to the other side, or the car which was there is coming towards you. So you have to go all this place. Okay, so it is such a troublesome pain. Oh, it's a painful thing. You have to go and come back, and you will see you have only walked 2 kilometers, less than a mile, after going so much of distance from this mountain to the other mountain. And sometimes I had seen this, like in Suvishamaha. Vishamaha means very not a plain thing. Like in Kashmir, when we went to this place called Amarnath, okay, to the Amarnath cave. So you have to, normally from Chandanwadi you take the hike, but we went from the base camp itself, from Pahalgam also. From Pahalgam itself I started walking. So what happened is, from Chandanwadi you go up a place called Pishutap, then Ganesh Top, etc. So what happens is, you think it is top means it's top, right? But the problem is, you don't go to top climbing up. You will climb up, climb down, climb up, climb down, climb up, climb down. Like that you have to travel. Suvishamaha, there is no straightforward route. Then Katinaha, they are very difficult also. You will feel lack of oxygen, etc. And pain in your legs and all that. Dushta Sevitaha, and it is very difficult to cross each places. There are some places which it will be very difficult to make over and all that. So the king also is like that. Serving a king is like serving a walking on a mountain. Okay, trekking on a mountain. Tatha similarly, Bhoginah kanchukavištāha kutilaha krura chestitaha sudushta mantrasadhyascha rajanah pannaga iva. So he says, Bhoginah kanchukavištāha kutilaha krura chestitaha sudushtaha mantrasadhyascha rajanah pannaga iva. Rajanaha pannaga iva. The kings are like snakes. Bhoginah. The kings who are interested only in the sensual experience. Kanchukavišṭa. Kanchukavišṭa is a word which you can see in the sannyasa shastra, like a person who holds to the tote kind of bag, like, no. So the side bags, the sling bag which they have, the cloth bag. So a person who has that kind of bag is not to be respected. So kanchuka also means upper cloth, a person with an upper cloth, kurta and all that. Okay, so in today's situation, things have changed. The thing is, they should not be respected. In kanchuka here, with reference to the king, is not the upper cloth. With king, it refers to the shield which he wears. Okay, the protective cover he wears. So kutilaha means the cunning people. So krura chestitaha means people who walk a little odd. So sudushtaha, and very bad kind of people. So people who are not thinking properly. So these people, these kind of kings, they cannot be controlled any other way other than mantra sadhyascha, through the through the mantra, you can control the snakes. Through the mantra here means through the proper thinking, subtle thinking. Only then you can control these kind of kings. Dvijihva krura karmanaha anishthaschidranusarinaha duratopihi sampashyanti rajanah bhujanga iva. Again, he is bringing the snake example. Dvijihvaha krura karmanaha anishtaha chidra anusarinaha duratopihi pashyanti rajano bhujanga. The kings are like snakes. Earlier he said the kings are like mountains. Now he says kings are like snakes. Why? He says kings should be controlled like snakes. Next, first, kings are like mountains. Kings should be controlled like snakes. Then again he says kings are like snakes. Why? Dvijihvaha. Dvi means two. Jihva means tongue. Two tongues. Snakes have two tongues. We are not talking about the kings. Okay, snakes have two tongues. We are not referring to that two tongue. People with two tongues, they immediately change. They'll say yes and immediately say no. So people who contradict themselves by flip-flopping. So that is two tongue. Okay. So krura karmana, people who have a very evil tendency. Okay. Krura karmana. Then anishtaha, people who don't perform anything which is good for others, for the well-being of others. They don't do that. They chidra anusarina. Chidra means a hole. Anusarina, people who find the hole. That's not the point actually. See, chidra, it's a very beautiful word. Chidra normally means hole. So with reference to this chidra word, you have to remember this. Atma chidram navapadishyet. Chanakya in his Niti Shastra, in his Artha Shastra, he says, Atma chidram navapadishyet. Atma chidram. Atma means oneself. the self. Chidram means hole. Na vipadishyet. Don't say it to anyone. Don't open up to anyone. Meaning, don't show your defect. Don't display your defect to anyone. You should never share your defect, your problems with anyone. Problems means defect. Your defects. Why? He's my friend. Never. That is what he says. Never share with anyone. It should be a secret which should die a secret with you. Why? Because this person whom you call as a friend may not be a friend later. Sometimes something happens, things happen. So he becomes enemy. Now he knows your weak spot. That chidram is that weak spot, that defect. So never display your weak spot or your defects in front of anyone. Never share it with anyone. So here also chidra anusarina means people who always pick defects. So these people, these are other people, not the king. We are not talking about the kingdom. So he is now coming to that. Rajana bhujangaiva durtopihi pashyanti. The kings are like snakes. They can even see these people from far away. Like in front of the hall, in the front of the room, we have shade. In all four sides, I have put the shade. So now the shades have the poles, pipes, iron pipes. The iron pipes are not covered on the top. I let it like that. And suddenly in every hole, there is one snake. I'm not exaggerating. This is what happened. In every hole, I see a snake. When I go to the door, they go inside. Otherwise, normally, they let their head outside and drink the air. That's what the Shastras say. They drink the air. They eat the air, kind of. But I don't know. They are comfortable outside. They put their head outside and stay there for the whole day with their head outside. Only when someone comes, they hide themselves. Okay. Now, even from farther, they'll know, okay, this fellow is coming. Suddenly, they'll go inside. Now, there is a grill in front of me. So, in that, there was a snake. And I took a stick. I didn't beat it. I hit the grill. It fell down. And I snooped and I checked, where is the snake? I could not see the snake. The snake crawled fast, and there is a sump there. On top of it, it went up, and then he was looking from there. So fast. Brown back snake, they call it. In Tamil, they have a very, very dangerous name. And the story also associated. They call it Komberi Mukan. Kombu means the trunk, tree trunk. Okay. Eri means one wood which crawls on top of it. Mukan. That's a very tough name. Murkha means he's a very, 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 very dangerous fellow, kind of. Okay. And the story associated with this, why do they say it crawls up on the tree top? When it stings someone, it goes up and waits for people to take this fellow to crematorium. Only after seeing him burnt, it will come down. If it comes down before the body is burnt, or they take it to the poison also comes down, they say. Okay, these are all stories associated with that snake. And that is why if somebody is bitten by this, then they'll arrange for a cremation, dummy cremation, and save them. That's how they say. The thing is, this fellow is a very innocent fellow, non-poisonous snake. But stories, oh. So they have that kind of sharp eyesight. They have a usage in Tamil. His ears are like snake's ears. So sharp ears, to say sharp ears, they say snake's ears. Actually, snakes don't have ear. Snake can't hear. They can see properly, but they can't hear. So that is why he says Raja is very sharp. He can find who is what character from far away. So like the judges know the moment the fellow comes in, whether this fellow is an accused or not, they know it immediately. The problem is they need evidence for establishing or for negating. They can't say it, oh, I feel he is good boy, he's a nice person. No, they can't do judgment like that. So we'll see this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.